Hi Yvonne, this is Joanna. I just wanted to record a video for you for some of the points that you and Greg did not get to yet. Today we're going to be starting with the student view question, really revolving around can you submit an assignment using the student preview and then grade it as an instructor. So you're probably referencing the part where you click on your profile section, you view as a student, and then since you're in the student view, you're wondering if you could perhaps then interact as a student and then submit an assignment. Unfortunately, the answer is no. When we click on view as a student, we are just impersonating a generic role, but not an actual individual. So it's not actually going to work when you try to submit as a role because we're not an actual person. The way that can be done would be through the use of the admin tools and through the users area. Now, this is usually something that's only available to administrative staff. So if you do not have access to this, that's something we can definitely work on getting you access to. Again, this is really mostly meant for admin support. Usually when we click on users, we can find a specific student within the organization, and then we can actually impersonate that student. It is only until we actually impersonate the user that we are then pretty much acting as that student. And as long as we're enrolled in that course, we can then select that course and continue acting as if we were that student. And then once we log back out by selecting this X, now we are back to our original role, which would be me as an administrator or as an instructor, and now I can have access to the things that that student would have done, or I would have done on that student's behalf in that regard. The next question I see here is it possible to assign tasks to students that will show up on their calendar? If so, can we do it in a bulk basis or a distribution group? Do they have to be in one of my classes? I have advisees that may not be in one of my classes at any given semester. The best way that you would be able to do that, and if again you want to pretty much address everybody, I'm guessing that it's not just specific users. The way that I'm thinking of that you can do this would just be through the announcements area. Now, make sure that you're doing this at the highest level of the announcements, and these are what we call our global announcements. So the way that you can tell that you're at the highest level is by simply clicking on your logo, and it will bring you to the home page, which is the organizational page. And then the announcements posted from here, what we call our global announcements, that will be pushed out to everybody. So once we select that announcements tab, we can select new announcements. And from here, we can create the headline and the content. We can select specific availability for the start date, end date. We can attach files to that, whether it's audio or video. Or then if you wanted to do any kind of release conditions or attach this to specific users, you can select conditions that have to apply in order for this announcement to be released. So maybe it's based on visited a topic, right? So as soon as a student visits a topic, it will notify a global announcement that will be sent out to them, or perhaps a quiz score or a class list or an enrollment, right? So if a student is enrolled in a specific course, then they are going to be notified of this specific announcement. So then we can actually pick the specific course that we're talking about. Maybe it's the build your course, I can insert that. And it isn't until a student is enrolled in that specific course, then they will be notified of that specific announcement. And also, to make sure that it does show up on their calendar, we do want to make sure that it does have a start date and also an end date, so that can be visible to them on their calendar. Okay. Perfect. Last question I'd like to address here on your list is, speaking of advisees, could I create a class for them to centralize information, important dates, or is there a better way to do that in the system? That is a great question. I would recommend just exactly what you said. You could just create a blank course shell and name it perhaps Advisee Central or Advisee Portal, and they could just access it and not necessarily realize that it's just a shell of a course and still have access to maybe discussions or other things you would like your advisees to participate in. Okay, so I would just maybe create a blank course, maybe off of one of the templates here, and just maybe name it Advisee Portal, and then have them access it that way. We do that a lot with the organization. We do that for student portals, maybe some sort of assessment board portals as well. That is something that we've done quite a bit. Okay. All right, so I'm just kind of going through your bullet points here, and it is my understanding that you've gone through some of these with Greg. So I would just maybe Also, to make a point on your final note here, that we serve students of all majors. How can you use your system to get announcements content out to all students? Again, you would be able to do the same thing on those global announcements, right? So the difference between the global announcement and those course level announcements, once we get into a course, these announcements will only go to the course participants, whereas if we're at the highest level, all these announcements will go out to everybody in the organization. Okay, Yvonne? So that's going to be it for me now. I would love to record some more sessions for you. If you have time to jump in the call, that would be great. But I hope you are staying safe out there, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.